The Witcher 4 isn't just another sequel, it's CD Projekt Red's chance to prove that single-player RPGs can still evolve, not through size, but through depth. Between Unreal Engine 5, smarter world systems and lessons learned the hard way, Witcher 4 could quietly reshape what we expect from open-world storytelling. It's been almost a decade since The Witcher 3 redefined what an RPG could be: massive, emotional, and deeply human. It wasn't just a great fantasy story, it was proof that players crave worlds that feel alive and choices that actually matter. But over the years something shifted. RPGs kept getting bigger, yet somehow emptier. Worlds ballooned in size, icons filled the map, and quest logs became chores instead of adventures. So when CD Projekt Red announced a new Witcher Saga, rebuilt from the ground up on Unreal Engine 5, it wasn't just news, it was a statement. A chance to return to what made the series special, while pushing the genre forward again. And based on what we know, Witcher 4 might just set a new standard for what an RPG can be. Here are 5 ways The Witcher 4 could redefine RPGs. One of the biggest shifts for Witcher 4 isn't even the story, it's the technology behind it. For years, CD Projekt Red built its games on Red Engine, a custom toolset that gave them creative freedom but also slowed them down. Cyberpunk 2077's launch proved how heavy that burden can be. With Unreal Engine 5, CD Projekt Red is freeing itself from rebuilding the wheel every time they make a game. Unreal Engine 5's nanite and lumen systems mean the world can be incredibly detailed and naturally lit without destroying performance. That means caves that feel truly dark, torchlight that bounces off whetstone, and no loading screens breaking the flow. But the real revolution isn't visual, it's creative. Using Unreal allows CD Projekt Red to spend less time maintaining tech and more time building quests, characters, and systems. They can focus on what they do best: world building and emotional storytelling. And because Unreal Engine 5 is a shared ecosystem, they can collaborate more easily, test faster, and deliver something far more stable at launch. Technology won't make Witcher 4 a masterpiece on its own, but it gives CD Projekt Red the breathing room to make one. Open worlds have a problem. They often look alive, but rarely act alive. You can travel across a continent and the people, monsters, and villages still feel frozen in time. That's what Witcher 4 seems determined to change. CD Projekt Red has talked about creating ecosystems that react dynamically to the player. That could mean monsters migrating between regions, villages rebuilding after attacks, or even weather influencing which quests are available. If pulled off, it could be the first RPG where the world truly remembers what's happened. Imagine finishing a monster contract and months later, villagers have rebuilt the area and new merchants have moved in. Or tracking a griffin across regions as it adapts to your tactics, forcing you to rethink your approach. That's not just immersion, it's simulation. And that might be Witcher 4's secret weapon. Not a bigger map, but a living, evolving one. A world that changes without needing you to trigger every event manually. It's a way to make exploration feel meaningful again. Not because of a checklist, but because it feels like the world would keep spinning even if you stop playing. Few games have nailed consequence like The Witcher 3. Your choices didn't always give clean moral answers, but they mattered. Witcher 4 could take that even further. Instead of individual quest branches, imagine a world logic system that tracks your actions across the entire game. Decisions might affect trade routes, enemy types, even the wildlife population. Refuse to help a village? Bandits could take over and use it as a base later. Spare a creature instead of killing it? You might encounter it again, or hear rumors of the chaos it caused. The technology and design philosophy are finally catching up to that dream of living consequence. With Unreal's flexible data systems, CD Projekt Red could make every region react in subtle, systemic ways that don't feel scripted. It's the evolution of narrative design. Not just dialogue choices, but persistent reactivity. A world that bends, adapts, and occasionally breaks based on your past decisions. If Witcher 3 made your choices feel important, Witcher 4 could make them inescapable. For all its monsters and magic, The Witcher has always been about humanity. Greed, love, fear, and moral compromise. That grounded tone is what separated it from other fantasy RPGs. And Witcher 4 seems poised to return to that feeling. Rather than chasing endless spectacle, CD Projekt Red might focus on texture, weather that changes mood, characters who feel real, and villages that feel like they actually exist between quests. We don't need 10 cities, we need a few that feel lived in. It's the small details that made The Witcher 3 timeless. The way a blacksmith sighed when talking about his lost son, or the broken down tavern hiding a story better than any main quest. If Witcher 4 leans into those grounded emotions again, it could redefine immersion not through scale, but through empathy. and by embracing a darker, moodier tone, closer to The Witcher 1's grit than The Witcher 3's romanticism. CDPR might remind everyone that dark fantasy doesn't mean endless violence. It means confronting the uncomfortable and finding beauty in broken places. One of the biggest statements this game makes is, we're moving on from Geralt. The Witcher 4 is not just another chapter. It's the start of a new saga with Ciri leading the way. CD Projekt Red confirmed that Ciri will be the protagonist, stating that the story was always about her. She's no longer the side figure in someone else's story. We know from the reveal trailer that she's taking on Witcher contracts, hunting monsters, and stepping into her full potential. That matters, because it changes the player's role. You're not just following Geralt's path, you're walking a new one. The legacy is still there, but the focus shifts. You're defining how this new Witcher saga unfolds, how Ciri adapts, grows, and makes the series her own. This kind of evolution, picking up a legend and carrying it forward, is rare in RPGs. Most sequels simply reuse the same hero, but here, the hero changes. And that opens the door for fresh storytelling, fresh identity, and fresh stakes. It's not about customizing every superficial detail. It's about embodying a character who's both shaped by what came before and charged with reshaping what comes next. So if Witcher 4 nails this transition, if Ciri truly becomes the player's central lens, then this could redefine how RPGs handle legacy, identity, and franchise evolution. Of course, all of this sounds incredible on paper, but we've been here before. After Cyberpunk 2077, every promise from CD Projekt Red comes with an asterisk. Unreal Engine 5 is powerful, but it's also unfamiliar territory for them. New tools bring new problems, and ambition always risks overreach. The idea of a living, reactive world is notoriously hard to deliver. AI systems can break immersion as easily as they build it, and the more complex a game becomes, the higher the chance something collapses under its own weight. There's also the emotional side. For many fans, The Witcher means Geralt of Rivia. A new protagonist is both a creative opportunity and a risk. Some players might not feel that same connection, at least not immediately. So while Witcher 4 has the potential to revolutionize RPGs, it's also walking a very fine line between innovation and overambition. If CD Projekt Red overpromises again, even a great game might struggle under the weight of expectation. And that's the one monster even a Witcher might not be able to slay. If CD Projekt Red pulls this off, The Witcher 4 won't just mark Ciri's rise. It'll be proof that single-player RPGs still have room to evolve, not through endless checklists, but through consequence, connection, and craft. It's ambitious, it's risky, and it's exactly the kind of game the industry needs right now. A reminder that immersion isn't about how much there is to do, it's about how the world responds when you do it. Whether this next chapter truly redefines the genre or simply reminds us why we fell in love with it in the first place, that in itself would be enough.